Hello cherries, my name is Jerry Cherry, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you a tried and true way to record your acoustic guitar, as well as some other very helpful tips. It doesn't matter what microphone or recording gear you have, even if you plug your mic straight into your camera. The purpose of this video is we're going to focus more on mic placements and a few other things so that we can get the best sound we can with what we got. We're going to keep this as simple as we can. I'm using my 1992 Taylor 410 acoustic, my Studio Projects B1 microphone that I'm plugging right into my Universal Audio Apollo Twin audio interface. Without getting into too many features, I just want to mention that the B1 microphone has selectable filters, 75 Hz and 150 Hz. It also has selectable pads, minus 10 dB and minus 20 dB. I'll show you some of those features when we start getting our sounds. In December of 2019, I released my album Married to Myself. I recorded all the guitars and all the vocals on the whole album except for one song with this guitar and this microphone. This microphone is a large diaphragm cardioid microphone, and it only costs $120.
Okay, tip number one, use a stool or a chair that's not creaky and that you can move freely. And I can move, not like I'm going to really be moving like this, but you want to be comfortable, and you don't want, most importantly, you don't want any creaks or noises. A lot of chairs will creak, and those sounds will be picked up in the mic, and when you add compression later, it's really going to bring out all of those sounds.
If you're enjoying this video, please tap the like button, hammer on the subscribe button, and ring the bell for notifications. Thank you.
Okay, tip number two, be aware of clothing, jewelry, or even your headphone cable hitting your guitar, because all of those things could ruin a good take, and they will be picked up in the mic. Like, if you're wearing jewelry, which I'm not, or any clothing that might hit the guitar. Like in this case, I might have, my headphone cable could be banging around, which I actually have it in a good place right now, but, just be aware that's not hitting the body of the guitar. Tip number three, turn off your AC units. You might have a wall mount air conditioner, and those things are generally very loud, and they will be picked up in your mic. And so, unfortunately, you're going to have to sweat it out if you have a window units. Okay, tip number four, mic placements. Very important, obviously. One thing you want to make sure of is that you're not right in front of the sound hole like this, because it's going to be too boomy. I like to place it right at the neck joint, where the neck joint meets the body. Like right here on the 14th fret, parallel here with the microphone. So you get a nice full sound. Like I said, if you're too much in front of the sound hole, listen to what happens. As I get closer to the hole here, it gets very boomy, and you don't really want that in your recording. And as you move further away from the sound hole, you get less bass. So that's why you find a nice medium, right between either the 12th fret and the 14th fret, even with the strings, and where I like it to be like right here. It's a good starting point. I mean, you have to use your ears and just find the right sweet spot. I like to get a little of the bass, because you could always cut out some of the overtones, bass overtones, but you don't want too much, because that's just going to mud your whole sound. And you definitely want to pick up some bass, because you can't really add that later. So you want to be able to get the right amount, so you could actually just you could cut some of the bass a little bit later in the mix. So this microphone actually has two filters. It has a 75 Hertz filter and a 150 Hertz filter. The 75 Hertz is on the far low end of the spectrum, so you can cut off from 75 Hertz down. If you really have too much bass and you want to cut that out, you can go like this and just adjust the mic down one notch to minus 75, cutting off 75 Hertz. See what that does? It's got rid of a lot of the bass. if you don't want as much, 150 hertz is the next step. Down. As you can see, it's not as bassy when I go over here, or if I go back up to 75. You really cut out a lot of the bass, so you're not in as much danger if you have, say, a guitar player, or yourself, if you're moving around, you're not gonna get bass overload here. But I like to just keep it off with no filter because I like to find the right placements, and I could always, you know, cut out some bass in the mix, fix it in the mix. And this mic also has a pad, minus 10 dB or minus 20 dB. And that really depends on, you know, your input of your source, your sound source. Right now I actually have it on minus 10 dB because I like the way it sounds right here. And basically it's more of just a volume thing. If you're not getting enough volume into your system, you can always leave that off. Or if you're getting too much, you can cut out 10 dBs. Or if you're really close to it, say if you're singing and you're close to the mic and you're kind of screaming into it, you want to back off on the input so that it doesn't distort. And that's pretty much why I have it minus 10, because I sing through this, and it also picks up the guitar very nice at this level too. If you find that it's distorting, you could drop that down to even minus 20 dB if you want. Because you don't want to distort the input of the microphone. So, this sounds pretty good, this placement right here. I released a video demonstrating my 1992 Taylor 410 guitar, and you know, just basically talking about all the features that it has, and I made a demo with it. So if you want to see that video, see the card above or see the link in my description. All right, tip number 5, pick gauge size. So I use mediums, and you know, I've been using these Dunlop 83 millimeters for a while. And I also use these awesome Mazzillo picks that I got from a friend of mine that are great. I'll show you when I get to the heavy part. And so they have a nice even sound for strumming. Right? So check out, now the thin picks are really good for just really having more of a lighter touch. Because it's not going to give you a very hard attack. Heart attack, not heart attack. Hard attack. It's always going to kind of back you off to where it's very even across the strings when you strike it. If you're outside in a loud place, you know, performing for instance, and you have to do a solo, it's going to be very hard because you're not going to get a lot of projection with it. But for recording, it's very even sounding. Whereas a heavy pick, like this one, very heavy, is going to give you more of a heavier attack. Okay. Better for lead playing. If you want more of a percussive sound. Or if you want to get really crazy, I've been using these jazz threes forever, which is the hardest pick ever. I've been using these since I was a little kid when I wanted to be the fastest guitar player in the world. So very pliable, very heavy. But I don't recommend them for, strumming and pretty playing. Whereas this medium pick is just kind of like, medium. So it's a happy medium. You have that pliability in the attack where it's striking all the strings evenly. Whereas a heavy pick you might be a little more clunky, where you'll hear more of the first initial strike of the string as opposed to all of the strings. Here's a bonus tip. Before you hit that record button, put a do not disturb sign on your door and set your phone to do not disturb. The last thing you want is your neighbor knocking on your door or getting a text or a phone call when you're right in the middle of a great take. One thing that I always do when I'm recording acoustic guitar is that I'll double my parts. So say I'm playing. I'll do 2 tracks of that and pan them left and right so you get a real wide stereo sound. But one thing you got to remember when you're doing that is you have to play both of them pretty spot on. So if you're playing one, you want to play the other one the same. Because you want them to be perfectly even together. If you had the same exact track that you just doubled and put left and right, you wouldn't give you that stereo image because it's the same exact part. It's the nuances that kind of spread them out, but you don't want them to be too different to where it's like, wow, it just sounds like 2 different parts. You don't really want to notice them, you just want it to be stereo wide.
I release a new guitar video every Friday. I also go live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I usually perform a song that we could improvise over, applying some helpful theory and scales. Please join me. It's a great way for us to get to know each other. I'd love to chat with you. I also go live every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I play originals and fun covers for about an hour and a half on Acoustic. That's Facebook/Jerry Cherry Band. Come join the fun. Here's a question for you. How do you record your acoustic guitar? Do you have any tips or tricks you'd like to share? Let us know in the comments section. Thanks. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, please tap the like button, hammer on the subscribe button, and ring the bell for notifications. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. And remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry.